We. That's green. We don't like that. We. That's not one.
Hello everybody and welcome to a little bit of tech that we have going on here. So everything revolves around high velocity rounds. This was changed on the most recent patch. When you shoot a fully armor broken target, you apply the Riven armor debuff. And the important thing here is that Riven armor essentially deals 5% of high velocity rounds damage, and then you gain that damage on every other attack hit that you deal, which is unscalable added physical damage. So you hit them with high velocity rounds, 5% of that damage. Now every other attack that you deal versus the target gains. And again, the keyword here, unscalable. So because of that word alone, we can just focus on raw hits per second. We do not care about the damage of the skill itself. And I opted to use Spearfield heal because it obviously just has a ton of spears on the ground. You hit the target a lot of times per second. As you saw in the footage, we got a ton of poison stacks on the target because of the Splinter of Larada. And this thing says any number of poisons from this weapon can affect the target at the same time. Basically, you have infinite number of poisons. If you play Path of Exile 1 and you don't play PoE2, poison works differently. In PoE 1, that's just how it works. You get infinite stacks. In PoE 2, you have a maximum of 1 stack by default. There are other ways to increase it. This weapon is one of those ways, and this gives you infinite number of poisons, and it always gives you poison on hit. Both of those combined, very, very, very powerful. And then we just Spearfield away for single target damage. This is what we do. All of these spears can hit the target. It's just insane the amount of hits we are getting simultaneously, and we're just getting as much attack speed as possible. This supported skills deal 50% less damage. Doesn't work. Literally has no impact on the build whatsoever because of, again, that beautiful word right here, unscalable. That means both up and down. So we have a bunch of attack speed from rapid attacks, concentrated area, just because without that, here's what it looks like. You can see that the spread of the spears is much wider, so we want to hit the target with as many spears as possible, so conk effect is needed. That 30% more damage does not apply. It's just for the less area of effect. Rearm obviously gives us a chance to just proc the hits again. Deadly Poison, this does actually scale our damage, because once the unscalable damage from Riven armor is actually, put into the poison, we can then properly scale the poison damage. So that 100% more magnitude literally just doubles our damage for free. And then finally, Rigwald's Ferocity with their spear on the weapon set 1 for 20% more skill speed. This is not going to be a full build guide whatsoever, but here is a basic outline of what the passive tree looks like right now. The most important things here are for weapon set 1 on your spear, you want poison duration. This gives you so much more damage with poison. By default, I think it's 2 seconds. Yes, lasts for 2 seconds. So you get 40% duration there. You get another 10% there, so a total of 50%. And then you go over here for escalating toxins to give you an additional 100% duration. So we are going from a 2-second poison up to a 5-second poison that is per stack. And then on weapon set 2, that is your crossbow, you just want as much damage as possible. So obviously a bunch of crit chance, bunch of crit damage. Go down here for the crossbow nodes for 80% increased crit bonus, kind of crazy. Again, this is basically a tentative outline to a skill tree. It is not set in stone. I'm going to be configuring things a little more as I play. And then for clear, if you guys have not seen the tech with this, Herald of Blood plus Herald of Plague is insanely powerful. So you want to put poison support onto Herald of Blood, link it with Bleed, which is kind of interesting. So Herald of Blood is a payoff skill, so it can't interact with Bleed because it already deals with Bleed over here. Payoff skills cannot inflict the ailment that they interact with, but this Bleed support here is actually for this right here, Bursting Plague, which does attack damage in an area basically equal to the poison damage on the enemy. And that can apply a Bleed, which can then proc Herald of Blood again. So we basically go Poison, Bleed, Bursting Plague, Herald of Blood. When you kill a bleeding target, which we're inflicting bleed with our clear skill, which is called a Siege Cascade, when you kill a bleeding target, Herald of Blood explodes, then it procs poison 60% of the time. So in a big pack of monsters, basically something's going to get poisoned. Then when they die, they proc Bursting Plague, which then spreads the poison all around because of Herald of Plague. And then the Bursting Plague also inflicts bleed at 100% chance and then procs Herald of Blood again, and then you just get a bunch of chain explosions. It's absolutely crazy. So long story short, for clear speed, you just pop things with Herald of Blood. Feels pretty good. And then for single target, we're doing, of course, the Riven armor from high velocity rounds plus Spearfield. Again, you do not care about the damage of Spearfield whatsoever. The fact that this is a level 1 spear, does 8 to 15 fizz damage literally is irrelevant for this build. You only care about attack rate. So if you can, get your hands on a Spear of Laureata with 2 sockets and put some attack speed runes in there and try try to get an attack speed corruption on top of that. And no, I am not going to take advantage of my content creator privilege and buy up all the spears, because that would be cringe. This is my last character of the league. I have no use for the money. I'm gonna leave them all on the market. And realistically, that means that someone else is just gonna buy them all up and then flip them for money anyway. But hey, at least I tried, guys. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description below to a write-up on Mobalytics. This is not a full build guide for this build just yet. I'm gonna play it a little more and figure things out. But if you want a preliminary synopsis, basically, check the link in the description below for the Mobalytics. Other than that, thank you for watching. Check out my stream at twitch.tv/WoolieGaming. And other than that, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.